Joining me now is Gabriella Burman, the Director of Communications at Beyond Basics, as they continue to help to bridge some of the gaps in our education systems at this time. And to do that, they need the work of dedicated individuals who can provide tutoring, who can provide some reading assistance, and more. And we're going to talk to her about all the available opportunities with Beyond Basics. Gabriella, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Tyler. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. And so we've had representatives from Beyond Basics on the show in the past, but for those that aren't familiar with the organization, can you give us a brief overview of what your mission is and some of the services that you provide to kids in our local area?
Sure. Over many years, we've developed a model that uses an evidence-based approach to provide intensive literacy intervention to the students who are not yet able to read at grade level, who need access to resources, and working side by side with a dedicated reading interventionist 5 days a week, an hour a day during the school day. They make grade level movement, giving them the toolbox they need to master literacy, connect to their education, to the curriculum, and ultimately to all of life's beautiful opportunities and possibilities and wherever they want to go in their lives.
And so a lot of those individuals that are providing these intervention services, that are providing the educational services from your with affiliation with your organization, they're critical to this. They're critical to providing these additional services and all the general services that are provided through Beyond Basics to these kids that are in need of those reading interventions to get them back up to grade level or to get them beyond grade level and help them make that adjustment. You can't survive without those tutors and help from the literacy problems overcoming those issues. Reading interventionists are what you call them at Beyond Basics. Tell us about how badly the need is now, or how significant, at least is probably a better word for it, the need for those reading interventionists is at this point in time.
Right. So as we scale to grow and to serve many, many more children in the metropolitan area and beyond, the reading interventions are the critical piece. We provide the service, the schools provide the students, and the tutors make the magic happen. They're the engine that makes the train run, right? They're the missing link. Without them, we wouldn't exist. They're critical to the organization. And just the other day, a reading interventionist at one of our schools said, working at Beyond Basics is like going to a birthday party every day. She said, every day you're opening gifts, whether it's, a kid who has an aha moment, developing understanding of a concept, or just kind of the joyful interactions that they have with each other. I mean, those were her words. That's how she describes working as a reading interventionist one-on-one with a child, as a Beyond Basics reading tutor. So those kinds of stories unfold every day among our tutors, and they come to us from all walks of life. They're critical to the organization. We take them through a rigorous 2-week plus training where they learn how to teach this evidence-based approach to students in K-12 schools. And then we deploy them in the field. We send them under the guidance of a team that's already in place at a school. They continue to receive mentoring, shadowing, professional development along the way. We really position them for success. So that's the job part of it. And then, of course, there's the undescribable feeling of becoming part of a mission, becoming part of a community, a movement to achieve literacy for every student and to eradicate the crisis of illiteracy that continues to plague, communities across this nation. So they are really the glue that holds this whole enterprise together.
We're joined by Gabriella Burman, the Director of Communications at Beyond Basics. You can learn more information about the nonprofit that's providing all these interventions for literacy education for our children in our local area by visiting their website at beyondbasics.org. And so, as you mentioned, your reading interventionists, your tutors for these students that are so critical to your operation, they're from all walks of life. They're not all teachers, not all educators with those sorts of backgrounds. They have a variety of different life experiences. And so if someone is considering joining our organization as a reading interventionist or is looking to help out by recruiting someone to maybe consider being a reading interventionist, what are some of those qualifications that Beyond Basics is looking for?
Oh gosh, well, you're right. We do have people from a variety of professions. One of our longtime reading managers now is a retired engineer. So um, they come from a variety of professions, all ages, all backgrounds, and they always find something unique within themselves to use to connect with the students on that social emotional level as things get kicked off. We need someone who can work during the school day, someone who has access to transportation, someone who wants to work with a youth population, who has that heart for helping children, who really is mission appropriate and guided by values. But um, really, any profession is welcome, and we offer a great starting salary, an hourly salary that starts at $20 an hour and commensurate with experience. So now is a great time to be looking for a job, as we hopefully get past the worst of COVID. So, we are growing, and we are, inviting interested, inquiring people to visit our website to learn more, to send a resume to hr@beyondbasics.org, and we'll take it from there. We're excited to meet new potential candidates.
And so, Gabriella, you mentioned the organization is continuing to expand and to grow these programs with the pandemic in mind, and also just with the future in mind as well. So I want to ask, how much of an impact has the pandemic had on the focus for the future of your organization and the work that it does, but also on the approach that the organization takes to providing these reading intervention services to so many kids that are in a need of that to really prosper in their education?
Right, that's a great question. So we always say we show up wherever the kids are. We continue to show up for the kids wherever they are. So whether they're in person or online, we are there for them. They show up every day for their sessions, and we show up for them, to be there for them and to guide them through and to give them the toolbox they need so that they can pave the way towards literacy and to a more just and equitable society where their voice will be heard. We never deter from that mission. So COVID has added students to our ranks, in that there have always been students who have been behind in reading. And those are the students that we've been serving, for 20 years. And now, as more children unfortunately slide, so to speak, due to school disruptions and closures and lost instructional time, there are more students who need our program, which gets grade level movement in an average of 6 weeks. And this is the most opportune time in our history, because there is funding at all levels of government to respond to the crisis by COVID and other sources of funding previously. So now we're shining a light on literacy like never before. So it's really a time to get this done, to get in there like the National Guard, provide the emergency services, get out, get the students where they need to be, and solve this problem so that they can go on, access their education, succeed in their curriculum, succeed in life. There's never been a better time to really address this once and for all.
And literacy is so critical to every aspect of education. And you mentioned the slide that's been educational, that's impacted so many students throughout the pandemic because of the shifts in learning, because of the stressors that are associated with the pandemic for all of us, but especially for children, and especially those more specific stressors for children that us adults maybe are probably not experiencing during this pandemic. But there also is educational slide for other reasons also, and sometimes these intervention services, these one-on-one interactions with an educator, with a tutor, with a reading interventionist, can be so critical. And what's great about these openings is that they're also paid. So if someone is looking to make a career change or is looking to take on some additional work that's going to be fulfilling and is going to be impactful in a positive way in their community or in surrounding areas, this is really a great opportunity for them to be able to kind of check all of those boxes while providing these kids with services that in many cases these kids desperately need to really catapult them into reaching their full potential and realizing just the potential that they have.
We need you, Tyler. We need people like, come on over.
Yeah,
You said it. You said it better. You said it as well or better than anyone could. Yeah.
I appreciate that. So if someone is interested in becoming a reading interventionist, what are the steps that they need to take? Obviously, they got to apply. You gave us the email address. It's hr@beyondbasics.org if they want to send in information or inquire about it. But what's kind of the process they can expect to go through, and how long between when they would be inquiring about becoming a reading interventionist until they're meeting with their first client, their first child, to be able to provide those services? But what's that timeline generally?
Right. So we have ongoing trainings. We have one coming up next month. So, they'll go through the vetting process with our HR department. And if they are deemed to be, a viable candidate, then they'll take it from there, the next steps, and go through the training, like I said, learn the concepts that are taught to the students, really understand them, and then get that taken under the wing by the school team wherever they'll serve. They'll continue to receive the support that they need so that they are onboarded with success and continue to position themselves for success as they go on in those first months, and start working with students, almost immediately. So
you can learn more information at beyondbasics.org. If you scroll over there, get involved, a link at the top of their page, and go down to join our team. That's another way to learn more information about this. But there's also, for those that may not have the time or the capacity to provide some of these services themselves or become a reading interventionist themselves, there's other ways you can get involved with the organization and donate as well. All that information is on their website at beyondbasics.org. And we're joined by Gabriella Burman, the Director of Communications at Beyond Basics. So not too far down the road, but a little ways down the road in late March 25th, which is a Friday, Beyond Basics will be holding their 2022 annual event, Coming Together for Children. That'll be at the Detroit Athletic Club. Can you talk a little bit about that event, what people can expect from this coming year's event, and whether or not it'll be most of it will be in person, or there'll be virtual participation opportunities as well, as I would imagine in 3 months from now we'll still be at least somewhat dealing with COVID-19.
Right. We were fortunate last year to be able to hold our event in person, and we are planning to do so this year as well, public health, rules permitting. And it's a beautiful evening, honoring our supporters and highlighting the schools and the partners that make all of this happen for us. Really recognizing the students' achievement and everyone who's walked alongside us all of these years to get us to this point today. We have supporters who've been with us from the very moment of inception and who always answered a call whenever a need arose. So it's really a way to honor them and to celebrate the students and nearing the end of another successful school year. So it's a fun evening in a beautiful setting at the DAC, cocktails, dinner, program, presentation of awards. It's a fun Friday night, and hopefully we will be able to hold it the way we're planning to and have a festive celebration.
Well, Gabriella, we appreciate your time. Thank you for telling us about this great opportunity that's there at Beyond Basics for reading interventionists, these paid positions that are available and in need at this moment in time. Before we let you go, anything else that we should know at this time about Beyond Basics or other things coming up that we should be keeping our attention on?
Just if you're interested, don't hesitate, please inquire. And, we've identified this flaw in education, that teaching reading is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. And we have a model with data behind it to prove that in an average of 6 weeks, students can make grade level movement in reading. And the time is now. We need to flip the narrative on this script that, these children in underserved communities in particular can't. We have the data that shows that they can, and not just the data, but the real life stories, the personal stories. And it's a beautiful thing to be part of, and it's wonderful to be guided by a mission in your daily work. So if this sparks at all an interest in you, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.